Okay, so in this example, this video example, I want to show you how you can go online and download some spatial data and also get hold of some other information. In this example, I'm going to get the provinces from the online source. I think it's DIVA-GIS is the source I use, and get those shapefiles, add them to a QGIS project, and then I want to link the information from the World Health Organization website for the 2nd of March, this is a map of China provinces and the number of infections per province. And if we run through this tutorial, we're going to link those two data sets together. You'll be able to click on the various provinces and see what the cumulative death or cumulative cases is, as well as the deaths in the last 24 hours. And it's a fairly interesting map, and it's topical at the moment, so I hope you find this little video tutorial useful. And yeah, let's get on with that now. Okay, so I'm going to start off by setting up a little project folder on my desktop. So I'm going to right click, and I'm working in Windows 10, and this should be the same for Windows 7 and 8, etc. So you just right click on your folder on your desktop, and we're going to call this Corona map. Corona, let me be a bit more specific here. Virus map. Okay, so there is my parent folder, and inside that I want to create two more folders. One is just going to be project, and the next one will be data. And then inside the data map, I'm going to go, I'll keep it simple for now, just call it spatial, and then maybe tables. And if I need any other folders, I'll come back in here and create some new folders. So what I want to do is I want to jump online and just go see what I can find to put into this map. So we need some spatial data. So I'm thinking if we're going to be working and mapping the current infection level in China, I'm going to need the provinces for China. So I'm going to go online and see if I can't find something. So I'm going to open up, in this example, I'll open up Google Chrome. Just make it small enough so that we can all see it. And I'm just going to go China shapefiles, see what that returns. And there are a bunch that come through. And I think I'll go to this one, download by country, and I think we should be able to go and filter out for China. You know it's alphabetical order, so you just go and look for China in the top there, and administrative areas. So we're going to say OK and download. And I've got a fairly quick connection, so although it's 20 megabytes, it should be pretty quick. Okay, so now that that's done, we can go and look for it in our download folder. So I'm going to go look for that, downloads. There it is there. I want to cut that, go to my data spatial folder, right click and paste it in there, and I'm just going to extract. I'm going to extract it right here. So I'm going to extract, and I've got this little message here, and I'm going to put it in a folder called China. Ooh. Okay, extract, and there it is there. Okay, so here are my administrative boundaries. They've come through via the DIVA-GIS download. I'm going to remove the original zip file, because I don't need that anymore. Okay, so now if we open up QGIS, we're going to go open up QGIS. I'll just double click on the icon which is on my desktop, and that'll open up QGIS. Okay, so here's my blank QGIS project. So let's go and add that at the administrative boundaries, and hopefully these are the provincial boundaries for China. So I'm going to click on my Open Data Source Manager, select Vectors, and then go navigate to my desktop in the coronavirus map data spatial folder, China. There's a whole bunch here. I just want to make sure that I can only see the shapefile so I don't add the wrong one. So we've got 0 and 1. Okay, now usually that's the national boundary, and then this administrative 1 is usually provincial. So let's see if that's the case. Add those two, and then I'll just make the top boundary, I'll give it no brush and make it slightly thicker than the underlying boundaries. There we go. Okay, so that is the national boundary, and this has come through in WGS 84. You can see down here the EPSG code is 4326. So this is WGS 84 geographic coordinate system, and maybe I'll just rename this to China, and this can be renamed to provincial. And for now, I'm not happy with that brown. I'm just going to change it slightly, make it a lighter, something like that. This will all change as we start linking the data from the outbreak per province, and then we can color up on that. Okay, so we've got our map. Let's save that, and I'm going to save it in that same folder, except I'm going to put it in the projects folder. I'm going to go, what am I going to call it? Corona. I'll just call it Corona map. Okay. Great. Now we can go to the internet again and go see if we can't find some information. Now, the World Health Organization has a web page, World Health Organization, and it's WHO International. And if I go to emergencies by disease, Corona, and situation reports. So what they've got on this website is they've got the situation report in a PDF format, and it's released every day. There's a new report comes in as new cases get confirmed. So if we look at the report from January 21st, I'm not sure if this is when the first case was reported, but this is when the first report came out as data report on the 20th, as it says there. Okay, and in this instance, we've got a little table here with a couple of provinces in China, and then there's also Japan, the Republic of Korea, and Thailand. So 282 reported cases, confirmed reported cases. Now, that's more than likely incorrect. In the early days, they were still figuring things out, and things were being underreported as well, due to the fact that people didn't want to look bad. So I believe that was a big issue, and probably still is. So if we go back and we go to the most recent report, which is report 42, you see this report looks quite a bit different now, because now it's gone global. So if we scroll down, we can see there is a table here per province. So this is for each Chinese province, and then there's a secondary table per country. So what we'll do is we're just going to take the information from the provinces, and we're going to link it to our spatial layer in QGIS. So I want to select all of this and turn it into a table, and then link. I'm going to link on the name, because I see I've got a provincial name here. And if I go back into QGIS and open up the attribute table, I can see that I've got a name that I can use. So provided the spelling is correct, we should be able to then link on the name. So that's what we'll do. So what I need to do is I need to get this from this PDF format into a spreadsheet. Now, there may be an easy way to do that. There may be software that allows you to convert PDFs into Excel spreadsheets or PDF documents. Not PDF, Word documents. I don't know. I'm just thinking right now, if I just select it all and then say copy, open up a Word document and go paste. That's one way to get it in, but then now it looks like I've got to go through and edit this. So there may be an easy way to do this. I'm just going to go through and edit this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put each country, each province and confirmed cases as well as deaths onto one line, and then I'll add it as a CSV, which I should be able to then bring into QGIS. So I'm going to go about doing that. Okay, so I've gone through, and all I've done is I've put each of the different provinces on a separate line, and then I've gone and added a column, or not a column, a row at the top with the field names, and those are province, and this is population in tens of thousands, and then we've got confirmed cases, suspected cases. I can actually change, maybe make this name a bit shorter. Then we've got deaths. Okay, now that's all in the last 24 hours, those 3 columns. And then we've also got the cumulative cases and cumulative deaths, and I've just gone for cases sum and deaths sum, so I know what those mean. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to grab all of this, I'm going to copy it onto the clipboard, I'm going to open up a spreadsheet. So let's go back to my folder, and there's a folder called tables. I'm just going to create a new spreadsheet. There we go. That's today's cases, all the cases from the 2nd March. Okay, let's see if that works. And then I'm just going to paste these into that spreadsheet. Here it is here. Just right click and paste. Okay, there we go. So now we have, it's all in one column, but if we add it as save it as a CSV first of all, we say save as CSV, and I want to put it in that same place. I wonder if we should call it something else. Actually, we can call it the same thing because it's not going to be saved as an Excel spreadsheet, it's going to be a CSV. So we can call it the same thing. Save. Oh, it's already there. Hang on. Okay, no, let's just call it number 1 then. I don't know why it's not the same thing. It's asking me to change the name, but we can do that. No worries. Okay, so now, no, we've already saved it. If we go back into QGIS, we should be able to add that as a new table. So let's see. Let's go to Data Source Manager, and under the vector option we're going to go and search, actually no, I beg your pardon, that's not the vector option. We need to choose the delimited text option, and we'll go and search for it, and it is under our desktop, coronavirus map, tables, there it is there, open. And that looks like it's going to import perfectly. Now I'm not going to assign it an X and Y field because it doesn't have one. We just want to be able to link this table to our existing spatial layer on the provincial name. Provided the provincial name is all spelled correctly and there's no spaces, or I don't know if it's case sensitive, it's possible it's case sensitive, then it should link up perfectly. But we'll be able to see soon enough if it does link. But as I brought this in, by default it's already showing me that it's going to put them each in separate columns, so that is perfect. I don't need to do anything else. If you brought yours in and it looked slightly different to this, you might need to come in here and use custom delimiter and choose the space or remove the space. If it came in as just as a CSV, you see it just comes in, just going to bring it in one column. So we're just going custom delimiters and space. Now it's possible the more recent CSV that I added to another project in QGIS, I also used the space as a custom delimiter. It's also possible it's finding the correct option by default. I don't know. Maybe test it out and see which works. But if you don't see your columns in individual columns like this, then it's not going to be brought in correctly. Then you'll need to come in here and start tweaking the file format and choosing the delimiter, whatever it is, whether it's a colon or a space. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's going to let me add it. I wonder if we can add it, because it doesn't have, it's not liking something here. You see it's not letting me add it down here, so I like what it's doing, but it's just not letting me add it, and it's possible it's because it doesn't have a correct, oh there we go. So I just gave it a random XY field, so it's going to pull it in. Okay, now that's completely random, but at least the tables should still be there. Okay, there's all the information. And there's actually something's happened here. It's possible that in the original we've got two spaces. So what it's doing is it's creating a third and fourth, or two extra columns which we don't need. So I might need to go in and see if I can't delete those extra spaces. So let's go back into the data and see if I can't find those extra spaces. Right, so those extra spaces, let's see if that is the problem. So what we've got here is we've got, I'm going to sort on this column. Okay, and it looks like there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 that are incorrect. So let's go actually back into the, I think we can go back into the spreadsheet. I don't need to go back into the Word document. Just try and save myself a step there and open up that CSV. Here it is here. And then we'll go look under type A. Okay, so now type A and environs. Aha. Okay, so let me remove and environs and just put a space in there. And that's possibly the other issue for the other one. So we've got Inner Mongolia. So maybe we just go Inner. Now, Inner Mongolia, this is a potentially another issue. So the first issue now is that it's creating a third and fourth extra columns that we don't need. But now, just because I've changed the name from Inner Mongolia just to Mongolia, then it's quite possible that what's going to happen is it is going to not link correctly. So if I'm going to save that for now. So what were the other ones? Let's just double check that. So I went Hong. Okay, there we go. So that's fine. It looks like it will work because it's not Hong Kong in the spread in the. Oh no! Wait. Am I going backwards here? You know, that's right. Okay, so now if we have a look at the actual provincial table, this is where the potential problem is going to come in. It's probably going to be Hong Kong. You see, there's actually are going to be issues with the naming conventions here, because there are places that have two names. Hong Kong's not actually listed here. I guess they don't see it as part of China in the in this particular shapefile. But now we've got Nai Mongol. Now what is Nai Mongol? Is it Inner Mongolia? Is there an inner? That's possibly what's going to happen. So why don't we let's run the link and then see which ones don't link through, and then we might need to go back into the CSV again and change the names so that it does link up. So let's just close that. We'll go back to our CSV. We're going to save it. Yes. Save. Okay, close that. Yeah. Yes, please. Let's replace it. Okay, yes. Okay, I'm going to remove this one. Actually, I wonder. Yeah, no, let's remove it. Okay, so what I've done is I've updated the CSV. I've removed those extra names. So Inner Mongolia, which is in this shapefile there, will now be named something different. So if we just make this bigger and scroll down to where it says Inner, where is it? Oh, it's not called Inner Mongolia. In here it's called Nai Mongol, where the variable name is Inner Mongolia. So now the name in our CSV has been shortened to Inner. So what I need to do is create a new column and make that Inner. So there are three that I wasn't joining on. It was this one, it was Inner Mongol, and then this one here. So it's all of the ones that actually have double barrel names. Those are the ones that need to be edited. So there were three of them. So what I need to do is I'm going to start an editing session, create a new column. The new column will just be called link, and it's going to be a text field, and I'm just going to give it a length of 25, give it enough characters. Okay, and then what I need to do is I need to update the existing field which we have just created with the names. Okay, and then I just need to come into these ones. So this one is Inner. This one just removes the second part of that name, and instead of editing the name one, what I could have done here is come in and edited name and then just linked on, but then I don't have the original name. So what I wanted to do is just create a new field and call it link. So we're going to link on that one, and then this also gets changed. Okay, so those are the three we needed to edit. I'm going to save those changes, close this down, and now we should be able to link using that CSV. So I had removed the CSV. I need to re-add it since we did some edits to it. Here it is here. Okay, it's pulling those through perfectly, and I need to give it some just give it some random X and Y fields, even though we won't use those, just to bring it in as a layer, and say close. And now if we open up that attribute table, there we've got that attribute table there, and there aren't additional fields, which is exactly what we want to see. And now we should be able to link on the province and the new link field that we created in the provincial layer. Alright, so let's do that. So we're going to right click on provincial, we'll go to properties, and we're going to do a join. So select the join option, create a new join by clicking on the little plus sign, and we're joining with the attribute table from this layer, and it's on province to link, and OK, and OK. Now if we open this provincial layer attribute table, we should have joined fields. Right, so now these are all the temporary joins which are joining to the CSV, and these are the values. So we've got a number of different things happening here. We've got confirmed cases as of 2nd of March, etc., etc. So what we can do is we can color up on the let's color up on the total cases confirmed as a cumulative value. So not per day. Each additional day, these are new confirmed cases. We're going to go for the total and see what that looks like. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go right click, and we'll go to properties. We're going to go to symbology, and we're going to categorize using the graduated symbols. The column we will use is the cases cumulative, so cases sum, and we can use this color ramp. It's a good color ramp. We'll see if it colors it the right way around. And number of classes, how many classes shall we make? Just go 10. Equal interval, pretty breaks. You can choose a different options depending on what you need here. Standard deviation. Let's go with equal interval. See what that looks like. Apply. Okay. And that doesn't work very well. So let's just try a different one. So let's go quantile interval. Classify. But that was the same. Pretty breaks. Apply. Okay. Okay. So what's happening here is because there are so many more cases in the Wuhan, which is in the Hubei province, it's kind of skewing everything towards that particular province. So all of these, although they do have cases, there we go, it doesn't have a color because the color is falling outside of the range that we set. So what we can do is just change this range. Natural breaks, let's try that one. That looks better. Okay, so natural breaks looks better, and what we can do is we can come to the very top one and just change this to a deep darky brown, just to make it different from the rest. Okay, there we go. So now that is, as of the 2nd of March, this is a map showing the current infection per province. So what you can then do is overlay other stuff. If you have the quick map services, you can add that plugin and go to quick map services, and then just turn on the background information like Google Road. Let's see, Google Road, and we'll just make this one slightly transparent so we can see through it. Layer rendering, maybe make that 50%. Now this could affect how these images are being rendered. It kind of works. What we can do is we can duplicate this layer, and we'll put it on top, and then what we'll do is we'll just use the symbology as a single symbol, and we'll just change the layer rendering back up to 100, and that'll make the boundary defined. And instead of having a full style of solid, we'll go outline. There we go. Maybe what else we can do, we could label these things. So we'll just label, we'll label provincial, and we'll use the provincial name, which was name 1. Name 1, give it a buffer, something like that. Apply and close. And that should render nicely. Eventually. Give my computer some time to think about something. There we go. Okay, so that's how we did it. We downloaded a new shapefile for the provinces for China, and then we added it to our project, and then we converted some information from the World Health Organization website, turned it into a CSV, and then just linked it to our provinces. And that is the data for the 2nd of March. So what you can do is then go and explore this data, click on the various provinces, and see what the various cases are. Another thing you can do, you should be able to go into the attribute table for the layers, and actually just make these, change these names. We'll go organize column. Actually no, we won't do it there. We can actually do it inside the layer properties, and then we'll select fields, attribute form, that's it, and the alias can be population in tens of thousands. Okay, and this one is confirmed cases last, I think it's the last, in the last 24 hours. It's a bit of a mouthful actually, etc, etc. So you go through and you change all of these to do the same thing. This is suspected cases. This is confirmed deaths. This is cumulative cases. And that one is cumulative deaths. And do we need a capital? I don't know. Apply that. Now when we open that attribute table, or when we click on it, you should have the new alias for those columns, so it's not as confusing. Okay. And that is how you would bring that data in from online sources. Yeah, give us a shout. Well, actually, don't give us a shout. I hope I've showed you something new. If you find this useful, go check out the other videos. There's a couple on this channel that may help you get to know QGIS and apply data to your projects. Cheers.